The 2010s decade will be over in 4 months. What do you think people will remember this decade for? The social media explosion. The rise of the smartphone. Everyone has access to the internet and can voice their opinion towards the world at any moment with all the negative effects that it brings. I don't like this realization. Real headlines trying to outdo The Onion. My generation is going to be known for wanting to die and memes guess we can replace generation for decade. The meme renaissance. People are gonna reminisce about how good the 2010s were. They may not seem good now, but just wait to see what the 20s have in store for you. Social media influencers. Netflix streaming. It was available before 2010, but didn't get reliable until after. Swipe dating apps. The word online dating and dating sites are now swapped with the phrases dating apps Obama-Trump. The death of traditional media. Printed newspapers and periodicals, broadcast television and radio are fading. And while digital music way predates the 2010s, it took until this decade for pop stars to stop selling albums. They aren't tallying CD sales anymore, they're counting unique streams. Looking forward to this thread being unearthed in 2029. Smile. I hope you all are doing better than us. The incredible rise of misinformation and irresponsible knee-jerk reaction choices on very serious topics. From a design aesthetic standpoint, minimalism flat design, mostly due to the rise of tablets and browsing the internet on mobile devices. Clean lines, simple colors like black, white and gray. TV commercials. Early 2010s ads are backed by upbeat xylophone triangle whistling hand clapping music, or people breakdancing or doing the worm to obnoxious dubstep music. The late 2010s have vivid colors and imagery, vaporwave-style aesthetics, and loud over-the-top spokespeople talking fast in the middle of the screen. Think Captain Obvious from the Hotels.com commercials or Terry Crews from the Old Spice commercials, entering a new golden age of automotive design. Almost every new car from the decade is elaborately styled. Car interiors with angular, intricate dashboards, like the Ford Escape, Chevy Equinox or Hyundai Santa Fe. This might end in the 2020s as crash safety technology requires more new cars to look the same, and car interiors will replace dashboards and gauges with touch screens. Thanks, Tesla. A move away from chain restaurants and the rise of food trucks and locally owned restaurants that all feature string lighting, outdoor tables with giant Jenga blocks, Edison bulbs, and a craft beer selection written on a chalkboard. All houses are painted in that greige color and have all white kitchens with that same white subway tile backsplash. There is probably a barn door, shiplap accent wall, and a fiddle leaf fig inside. The horrific turn the Area 51 raid took, resulting in hundreds dead and the unleashing of angry captive aliens upon the world to exact their revenge on humanity. We've been at war for 18 ducking years. From a video game standpoint, this is the decade of the indie explosion, esports, battle royales and microtransactions. From a cinematic standpoint, this is the age of superheroes. Comic book movies dominated in the last decade and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. The wild switch from President Obama to President Trump. Say what you want good or bad about either of them, but their ways of doing the job are very different in many ways. Edit. Thanks for the gold and silver, whoever you are. I'm just hoping that the 20s will be the resurgence of gangster suits, black fedoras, and saying things like, "I'll punch you into mush, see?" They will remember how great summer 2016 was. Edit. I removed the comma. Edit 2. Wow, my first medal of any kind, thanks stranger. People ask me where I'm going to be in 4 months, I don't have 2020 vision jokes. Minecraft's rise, fall, and rise again. The clown epidemic of 16. Social media. Didn't see it here, so I'll mention it. The Syrian civil war and rise and fall of the Islamic State. Depression and memes. But really, I think mental health will be one of the biggest problems going forward, and this is going to be known as the times when it emerged as a problem. Social media memes. Smartphones trump. Men's styles: patterned short-sleeved button-down shirts, flannel shirts, beards, high and tight haircuts. Women's styles: yoga pants, athleisure, jumpsuits, rompers, Coachella attire. Don't know how else to describe this, but it's a distinct look. Music: country, mumble, hip-hop, bad repetitive pop, EDM and festivals. Tech, automation, social media, data, mobile phones, influencers. Outrage addiction. The death of brick and mortar and the rise of Amazon Prime. Social networks and how everyone thought it was a good idea to keep track of everyone in their life. Kids in 10 years will be like, so you met this guy at the pub and added him into your social network? Didn't that give him access to all your social details? Privacy will become the biggest thing ever, and loose social media connections will become the exact thing not to do. You know, when you watch documentaries now about kids in the 80s hitchhiking or stepping into a serial killer's van because they said they had puppies in there, and you scream at the TV like, "What are you doing, you idiot?" That's how people will think of our 2010s years. Party rock. Spending the entire decade thinking last year was 2008. Our inability to come together and tackle climate change. Hooray! Memes and Minecraft. They will remember crazy colored hair trying to dress like people in the 90s, those old iPhones that everyone had and thought were so cool but look like bricks now, vaping, thick eyebrows, overly photoshopped and facetune photos back when YouTube actually allowed relatively normal people to become famous, stuck lip stabbing Harambe. The 2010s will probably be remembered for as the remake era for Disney. For Europe it will definitely be the refugee crisis. The decade that normalized eating ass. The Marvel Cinematic Universe will be a major bookmark in the 2010s media identity. 2010 to 2019 saw 21 films and 27 seasons of 11 shows on 2 cable channels and 2 streaming services that have canonical events with each other. Avengers Endgame is the highest-grossing movie ever. Even if you're not a fan, chances are slim you lived through the 10s without hearing about the Avengers or Iron Man. The death of Osama bin Laden. Like 9/11, most people remember what they were doing when they heard he had been killed by Navy SEALs. The Arab Spring and the Syrian Civil War, and the migrant crisis that occurred from that. American culture getting more liberal, with gay marriage being legalized nationally and recreational marijuana being legal in 11 states and Washington, D.C., and medical marijuana legal in 22 states. The opioid crisis, the rise of smartphone and tablet usage. All the amazing television shows, the rise of neo-nationalism, the election of Donald Trump, Brexit. Touchscreen smartphones. The iPhone was released in 2007, but was outsold nearly 6-1 by Nokia until the June 2010 release of the iPhone 4. Trivia tidbit: the iPhone 4 was the third generation of iPhone, that the smartphone, superphone as it was called then, actually outsold Nokia. The rest is recent history. Nobody but drug dealers has anything but a touchscreen smartphone today. Either the 2012 end of the world or the fact we made anything and everything a meme. The decade that led to humanity's extinction. For having a majority of my generation be a bunch of easily offended pussies along with the rest of the media and Hollywood. I would say how mass shootings went from almost none to more than one almost every day. How a civil war in Syria and increased automation lead to a rise in isolationist nationalism in almost all Western countries. Antonio Brown calling his boss a racial slur in public and still getting paid $30 million because he's not white. Rise and fall of social media. My name Jeff. The destruction of the family and emasculation of the male. The new decade will start 2021 since there was no year zero. The start of the shitty snowflake generation. PewDiePie's uprising, despite that one fateful day on a particular bridge. Politics and gay pride. Utterly shit politics across the globe. People probably won't take me seriously on this one at the current moment, but the 2010s was the beginning of the climate revolution. We've begun to realize what we've done to the planet and more people have started to stand up. We've now got Greta Thunberg leading this generation and lifting the weight of climate change off our shoulders and taking back our future. We've come out of this decade a lot more aware and with more people and governments taking action. This will definitely carry on through the 2020s, but I reckon that was just the beginning.